today we're going to discuss the concept of emergence as it applies to bread making. Before you rush to hit that Google search button, let me tell you that this is probably the first time you'll come across this concept in relation to bread making. So don't bother searching online because you won't find anyone else talking about emergence in the context of bread making. Similar to the previous term I introduced, derivative ingredients, to explain tangzhong or yudane, I find this concept incredibly useful for explaining what I'm about to share in this video. Emergence refers to the phenomenon where complex behaviors or properties arise from interactions of simpler components. It has been observed since ancient times, with the expression, "the whole is greater than the sum of its parts," originally attributed to the philosopher Aristotle, serving as a description of this phenomenon. Examples of emergence are abundant. As David Pines puts it, we live in an emergent universe where it's difficult, if not impossible, to find any interesting scientific problem or study any social or economic behavior that is not emergent. Of course, dealing with emergent properties or behaviors that cannot be reduced to their original components and cannot be explained doesn't imply that we're dealing with something magical. It simply means that we either don't understand what's happening or our collective knowledge of natural laws and science is not sufficient to explain it. In simpler terms, we've reached the limits of our current knowledge. In the context of bread making, I strongly believe that unveiling emergent phenomena is not only intellectually rewarding, but also essential for bakers seeking a deeper understanding of the craft. This video is my first step in exploring this concept, and it won't be the only one. This will be an ongoing emergent process in itself. Understanding and appreciating the complexity of the bread-making process is facilitated by the concept of emergence. It accurately describes what happens during bread making. For instance, if we examine the main ingredients of any bread, flour, water, salt, and yeast, we find that none of them individually resemble the shape, taste, aroma, or sensory qualities of bread. However, when properly mixed, kneaded, shaped, and given sufficient time, a wide range of breads emerge, each with its own unique appearance and sensory characteristics, influenced by our actions throughout the process. To gain better insights into this phenomenon, let's start with one frequently overlooked ingredient, water. At the molecular level, water is a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is an explosive gas used as fuel in rocket engines, while oxygen is also a gas and serves as a common oxidizing agent in most combustion processes. Hydrogen can react with oxygen to form water, releasing energy in the process. Water is a dramatically different substance compared to hydrogen and oxygen. It's a liquid at room temperature with a boiling point significantly higher than that of hydrogen and oxygen. Furthermore, unlike flammable hydrogen or combustion-supporting oxygen, water acts as an effective fire extinguisher. But there's more to water's emergent story. Due to its V-like shape and the unequal distribution of electrons between the oxygen and hydrogen atoms, water is a polar molecule, meaning its charge is unevenly distributed. This polarity gives rise to hydrogen bonds, which drive many emergent properties of water molecules, including those supporting life on Earth and the ones central to bread making. We see this when we mix the principal ingredients of the dough together. These emergent properties contribute to the interactions between water and proteins in the flour, forming various bonds, including hydrogen bonds, and some bonds are strong while others are weak. Consequently, water molecules can be trapped within protein folds, tightly or loosely attached to the protein molecules. While there is a plethora of research on this subject that could lead to an extensive discussion, let's keep it concise. When the water and the proteins in the flour meet, the interaction between the water's polarity and the protein polarity initiates the formation of longer chains of proteins, which we call gluten. Through kneading, weak bonds are broken and the gluten is rearranged into a network of chains and sheets. The strength and elasticity of the gluten network can vary depending on the type of flour used. It can withstand the pressure of carbon dioxide during fermentation, allowing the dough to rise. Okay, that was a long story. But what can we really learn by applying the concept of emergence to bread making? First and foremost, the concept of emergence challenges the approach of explaining the complexity of bread making solely in terms of its ingredients. Instead, we recognize that the properties bread possesses cannot be reduced to or explained by its individual ingredients alone. Bread making involves a series of interconnected reactions and transformations of these ingredients, leading to the final product. By studying its emergent properties, we gain a deeper understanding of how the components interact and contribute to the overall process. This knowledge helps bakers troubleshoot issues, make informed decisions, and improve their bread making skills. For example, with just the four main ingredients and an understanding of the emergent properties they can spawn, we have numerous options for producing a wide variety of breads using methods such as sourdough, pre-ferment, and tangzhong. It's interesting to note that we can create all these different breads while essentially using the same kind of ingredients. Emergent properties in bread making significantly impact the quality and consistency of the final product. Factors like fermentation, gelatinization, gluten development, and oven spring contribute to emergent properties, such as texture, flavor, and appearance of bread. By understanding how these emergent properties arise, bakers can manipulate variables like temperature, hydration, and fermentation time to consistently achieve desired outcomes. For instance, when using the tangzhong method, we know that the amount of flour used for the tangzhong affects the optimal hydration level. Adjusting the hydration to meet its optimal requirement consistently produces quality bread by overcoming its potential shortcomings. Exploring emergence in bread making also inspires innovation and creativity in recipe development. By experimenting with different variables and techniques, bakers can discover new ways to enhance the flavor, texture, and nutritional profile of bread. Understanding the underlying principles of emergence allows bakers to push boundaries, adapt traditional recipes, and create unique bread experiences. For example, combining tangzhong and pre-ferment or sourdough techniques can yield a bread that leverages the best of both methods. Bread making can be challenging, and issues like dense loaves, poor crust development, or inconsistent rise can occur. By examining emergence, bakers can identify potential causes of these problems and implement appropriate solutions. Adjusting variables such as the balance of ingredients, hydration levels, fermentation times, or shaping techniques based on an understanding of emergence can help troubleshoot issues and achieve better results. For example, if you're facing the problem of a dry cornicione on your homemade pizza due to prolonged baking in an electric oven, understanding that increasing the hydration and incorporating tangzhong can result in the emergent property of a softer crumb texture provides a solution to this problem. Discussing emergence in bread making also helps spread knowledge and expertise within the baking community. Sharing insights, techniques, and scientific principles enables bakers to learn from each other, collaborate, and collectively improve their skills. By fostering a culture of understanding emergence, bakers can contribute to the broader knowledge base and promote advancements in bread making. In summary, exploring the concept of emergence in bread making is essential for understanding the complex interactions that lead to the creation of a perfect loaf of bread. It empowers bakers to make informed decisions, troubleshoot issues, drive innovation, and share knowledge. This is very exciting and interesting to me because it's a concept that has always been a part of my philosophy of baking, but I haven't put a name to it until now. I hope it makes a fruitful addition to your baking experience. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching and bye!